Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I'm going to chat with you guys a little bit about training maxes. And I'm going to put some training maxes I did this week. This may not be where they're at by the time this video comes out, but as you guys can see in these, they're not that heavy. All right, what are you seeing? A 415 deep squat, 315 bench, granted with a nice long pause, and a 515 deadlift. Notice they all end in 15. I thought that would just be cute and fun. So when you look at that, I'll get people who are like, these are way below your maxes. I mean, granted, you've been heavier in the past, but why are you going so light? And these are the same people who, that when I bring up the idea of training maxes, you'll see the same people in comments will say silly things like, well, what happens? You're talking about doing training maxes at, maybe 90%. And actually for really advanced lifters, I'll say 86 to 90% actually works really, really well. Why? Because at least 85% we know you can hit upper threshold motor units if you have good neural drive. Okay, which means it will carry over to a max in competition. So they'll say that and they'll be like, well, I'm worried about outgrowing those training maxes. If I don't test them, how do I know? And it's like, you can't tell when something's about a 90% max. If it feels light, like if you grab a weight and you're like, man, I could have done 5 reps with that, that's it. You know it's too light. Possibly. Unless you're really advanced, and it still might be okay. Because let's be honest, I've done at least 5 reps with everything you saw there. So that being said, the same people who worry about this are the same people who can't do training maxes, right? These are the same people who can't do training maxes. These are the people who will do a training max and get stapled under it. Or they'll grind it for 6 seconds, okay? Well, that's a problem. The idea with doing these sort of training maxes, and when I tell people this, if we're going to do power building type training, you want to do some heavy singles, okay? You need to. On the lifts that you care about your performance on in the long term. In my case, that's the big 3, the squat, bench, deadlift. Yours might be different. I have a powerlifting background, okay? So you need to do them, but why are we doing them? They're essentially a warm-up, okay? We need to understand that. Training maxes done in this manner are a warm-up. They're not the main workout. They're there to attenuate upper threshold motor units. They're there to give you some practice hitting heavy singles. And they work so well because these sort of maxes, if you do choose to truly test your strength later, they tend to carry over. They're heavy enough that they teach you to do 1 rep. Okay? They're hitting the upper threshold motor units and they're practicing doing a single rep, which is how you test strength. Right? That is how we test strength. Everyone understands that, right? People are like, there's all types of strength. Okay, that is a profoundly ignorant statement. That is, there are not all types of strength. Strength, okay, what does strength mean? The production of force against an external object. If something is a test of strength or measurement of strength, what is it? A measurement or a test of your production of force against an external object. So in other words, there's not 5 rep strength, there's not 10 rep strength, because those aren't maximum strength. They're not testing your strength. They might be a proxy for it. They're probably a better test of hypertrophy, work capacity. But it takes more force to move 500 pounds than it does to move 450 pounds for 37 reps. Okay? Right? Everyone get that? 500 pounds is heavier. But using the same ranges of motion, doing the heavier weight requires more force. Not can we repeatedly do less force. Okay? That's a different thing. So yeah, in that regard, but these carry over. This sort of training style, in other words, I've had lifters never touch over, 500 pounds on the lift. Notice I didn't say if that's a squat, bench, or deadlift. Okay. and in competition come in and hit 550. Why? Because they practice doing singles at 90% of it. Does everyone get that? Okay, we're good. So it's also a warm-up though. It attenuates upper threshold motor units. These are our warm-ups. If we've done these, we don't need to worry about warming up. We've now hit the highest threshold motor units, we've trained our nervous system, we've primed our nervous system. We're now ready to train. Okay, so after I've done these, I'll come in and do other exercises. We're good. All right, we're good. You think after I've done that bench, that I come in and warm up on these pull-ups and rows, or do I go straight into them? You think I need to warm up now to do my rep work on the bench? Drop down to 245, 275, whatever? No, we just do the work. They are our warm-up. They prime our nervous system. They attenuate muscle fiber recruitment, because that's the point of warming up, right? Does everyone understand that? That is why we warm up. If your joints and tendons require you to warm up before you can do a 10 rep set, you've got big problems. You are severely out of shape. You should start working out. Right? So are we clear on that? All right. These are our warm-ups. This gets our nervous system ready to do the other work. It makes it more efficient. Also helps us bias towards getting to those higher threshold motor units. Those are the ones that have the most potential for muscle growth, so we need to be potentiating them. It's beneficial to us. All right, stop thinking of training maxes, and I tell people this, as all-out maxes. Okay, they shouldn't be much heavier than what you would open with at a powerlifting meet. And again, I want to be clear, they still will train your high-level strength. But again, everyone wants to go too heavy on a training max while calling it a training max. All right? There's no need to do that. And it's not even about training hard. It's about setting your ego aside. You should be training hard on your work sets, right? Those pull-ups, those rows, that's where the hard training is. Not on your training maxes. Like this stuff is hard. These pull-ups are hard. These rows are hard. Even the rep work on the bench is hard. This is my training hard. Those singles aren't. They're not supposed to be. That's not the idea. And then everyone wants to train like pussies on this stuff. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.